Well, I will tell you this. When you talk about Pittsburgh, you got to be thinking Steelers, and you got to be thinking the Pirates. And joining me right now is a couple of guys who've been on the show before. We've talked baseball, we've talked fantasy baseball, and we got Bob and Jonathan Bentz. Hey, guys, how you doing today?
Yeah, we're doing great, Pete. Great to have us on again.
I mean,
Thanks.
yeah, we're happy to have you on. We got tied up in Ben Roethlisberger and the discussion on him, but I guess in a roundabout way, I want to move out of this negativity, because it is negative. I mean, we got a kid who's going in the draft. He's got a positive mind, and we got this guy who's just tearing down the NFL. But let's talk fantasy baseball. What's hot? What's not in fantasy baseball?
Well, if you want to talk about something positive, let's talk about Derek Jeter and his girlfriend list. Have you ever seen that, Pete?
Well, I just dropped.
He just dropped his pen because he's a Mets fan, and he's like, "What do I want to talk about the Yankees for?"
Yeah, I mean, Piscopo just rubbed my nose and my poor Mets all over the place. But go ahead, tell me about Derek Jeter and his girlfriend's list. I got to hear this
got
one.
a girlfriend. Jonathan and I publish FantasyBaseballDugout.com, and we have a list of Jeter's girlfriends up there that will absolutely knock your socks off.
Okay.
I mean, this guy has dated 6 of Maxim's top 100 lists. He's done the double Jessica, BLN Alba, and he may have never won the most valuable player in the MLB, but he is our most valuable player.
Yeah. I like how you said
He's
that,
also,
too.
but, that said, he is, later this year, he is expected to take himself off of the, out of the running for the player list by actually tying the knot. So, I guess you could question his sanity at that point. But,
do you think
his list is quite impressive.
Do you think Derek Jeter's doing it right versus Tiger Woods? I mean, having a list of a bevy of beauties, and then getting married, or getting married and then having a young list of bevy of beauties, which is better, do you think?
Well, since Jonathan and I are both married, we're going to have to go with Jeter on that one.
Yeah,
He's doing it
exactly.
the right way.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. And if you notice, it is while Jeter is still a productive player, and still the captain and all that kind of stuff, he still definitely is near the end of his career, as opposed to being in the prime of his career where Tiger Woods decided to get married. So I guess if you're looking for a marriage strategy for a high-profile professional athlete, maybe they should wait till the end of their career as opposed to doing it in the middle.
Okay, talking with Jonathan and Bob Bentz here on Spittle on Sports. Fantasy Baseball Dugout.com is their website. They're gamers, and you guys don't just deal with fantasy baseball either. You deal with fantasy football and everything else, right?
Yeah, we have some other stuff, but our first love is baseball. That's why we're wondering why you're talking about Roethlisberger right now. I mean, this is baseball time. It's April. It's spring. The sun's out. The girls are wearing, less clothing, and we want you to come out to Fantasy Baseball Dugout and see what we're all about, because we're going to give you tips on how to win your league this year.
I don't know. I'm getting an echoing in your background right there, and I don't know if it's our setup here, Shank, or not, but tell me about last year. You guys came on with the hottest wives in Major League Baseball, and this was not the first year you guys did it. It's worth going to their website just to see that. Who was the hottest wife last year? Wasn't it De La Rosa?
Yeah, it was Heidi DeRosa. It was Mark DeRosa's wife. Yeah. She won the year before too.
Did she really? Back to back. Nice.
Yeah, back to back champ. Yep.
Yeah, she's something special. She's the wife of the utility player Mark DeRosa, and she has quite a following on our site.
Yeah, and she had last year it was a landslide. I think the year before it was a close victory, but I think a lot of our readers may have discovered her 2 years ago, and then last year she won with like 70% of the vote or something.
That's got to be a great discovery.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, you guys got it made. You guys can flip through all that stuff, and
it's got to be hard. I mean, it's got to be.
That's a real tough job. I wish I had one like that.
Well, you could have a tough job like that if you know these two guys like I do. And but both of this is an uncle and a nephew, and they got a great website. Listen, the second I mentioned FantasyBaseballDugout.com, Puzz gets onto the nearest computer, and he's right there, and he's got everything rated up there. He's got the fantasy baseball catching rankings, and you got Joe Mauer up there. Good, that's a good pick. I'll go for that. Who do you got? Who's some of the other ones you got up?
I don't see any Mets.
Well, we got a couple hot guys.
There's no
this
Mets
year.
there. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, we predicted a couple of guys in preseason, and so far, we are looking like soothsayers here as the season goes on. The first guy is Placido Polanco of the Phillies. Now, he's 34 years old, so like Jeter, he's probably nearing the end of his career. Last year, his average dropped off to 285, but he's a career 303 hitter. He had only 10 home runs and 72 RBIs last year for the Tigers, but he's hit 2 already this year for the Phillies, and he's hitting in that number 2 slot for the Phillies. And when you have that kind of a lineup behind you, you're going to see some fastballs if you're Placido Polanco, and he is a pure fastball hitter. He's hit 2 out already this year. He's 20 for 45 with a 444 average, and of his 20 hits, Now write this down. 14 of his 20 hits have come off of fastballs. So, if you got to face Chase Utley behind him, Ryan Howard, Jason Worth, and Raul Ibanez, you're going to see some fastballs. And in the major leagues, when you show some fastballs over and over, those are going to be base hits.
That's definitely one huge tip that we recommend for people is to keep track of the lineups that players hit in. And you can find some gems on your free agent wire if the players are hitting in a good spot in a stacked lineup, like the Phillies lineup, the Yankees lineup, situations like that, guys you may not know, you may not know of, or your competitors in your league may not know of. These guys get in a good spot and are going to get pitches to hit, and all of a sudden you see that they're producing. You need to have them on your roster.
Yeah, talking with the Benz family here on Spedora on Sports Fantasy Baseball Dugout.com. Not to change the subject, but Minka Kelly, is that a correct pronunciation of her name?
I'm sorry, say again?
Yeah, Minka Kelly. Is that who Jeter's dating right now?
Oh, Minka Kelly,
Yeah.
Minka Kelly played the cheerleader on the Friday Night Lights show.
Yeah.
And she's a 29-year-old actress, but she plays a 17-year-old on Friday Night Lights, so that should say something about her quality.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And I see 3 pictures, and they're very, very have high quality right here.
I want to talk a little bit about baseball here, and all I'm looking at is puzzling pictures and everything else like that. Listen, guys, we'd like to get you guys back, talk a little bit more, and cover fantasy baseball with you. If you want to know more about Bob and Jonathan Bentz, you can go to their website, fantasybaseballdugout.com. You can check out the wives column. You can check out the pictures that Puzz is looking at and Shank is looking at, and I'll get you guys back and we'll talk some serious baseball.
Well, he's not looking.
Yeah, I'm not looking.
Yeah,
No.
we'd love to be back. And one more guy to keep your eye on, Curtis Granderson of the Yankees. I know you're a Mets fan, but this guy's a dead-pull hitter. He's made for Yankee Stadium in that short porch, 308 feet in right field.
You see that? That's perfect. That's perfect. Bob, Jonathan, all the best. You guys have a great weekend.
Yeah, same to you.
You bet.
Thanks, Pete.
You bet. You're listening to Spedora on Sports. Stay tuned. We'll be right back at you.
Don't try it. Try it. Hey, don't even think about changing the station. Spedora on Sports will return.
I think this frequency should be put on priority monitoring.